Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Grammar with Sean. I'm your host, Sean Nogales, and today we will be talking about how to write a summary. Now, summary writing in general is a topic not a lot of people really grasp, and I saw this firsthand since a lot of people, including I, sat exams a couple months ago. But, anyways, let's get into it. So, first, we have to ask the major question here: what is summarizing? Well, summarizing is using your own unique words to describe briefly the main ideas of something you saw, heard, or read, right? And so summaries would be you or someone describing something they heard, saw, or read in their daily life. Now, summaries can happen in various forms. There are plenty of times when you summarize. I mean, you summarize when you're writing a research paper or even describing something to your friends or your families. These are just a few examples of how of the times you summarize. I'll give you a moment to look over examples. Alright, let's move on. With that in mind, it begs the question, what is a summary? Well, I broke it down in 6 points for you here in number 1. Take note of these is that one, a summary is always shorter than the original version. It has to be. It's never longer than the original version. In the beginning, I meant to say that summaries could be in any form, long or short, but it should never be shorter than the original version. 2, summaries only include the main ideas. 3, summary, you aren't supposed to worry about the details of the summary. Number 4, summaries are written in your own unique words. 5, summaries are objective, meaning that they're fact-based and you cannot include your own opinions. And 6, you must contain the author and the title of the work you are summarizing. Let's take a look at point number 6, referencing the name of the author and the title of the work. Here we have an example that states, in chapter 1 of Night, which is the title, Eli Wiesel, or Ellie Wiesel, the author explains, and then we continue from there. This is a great example that I got off the net to use because this clearly shows the structure of, for example, the first sentence or the second sentence in the introduction. Take note that the title and the author is always first in the first paragraph, usually between the first and third sentences. Now let's go more in depth, explaining the parts of a summary that is crucial in making it a good summary. Number 1 is the introduction. This is where you introduce your topic. This is the most important part of the summary, and the introduction tells the reader what your summary is about and how it will be organized. Number 2 is a thesis statement. A thesis statement is a statement that summarizes the main idea of the summary. This is the main point or conclusion of the summary. Number 3 is the body paragraphs. This is where you explain your topic using evidence from the source. The body paragraphs are organized around the thesis statements, and there can be multiple of them. Number 4 is the conclusion. This is the final section of the summary. It summarizes the information in the body paragraphs and restates the thesis statement. And number 5 is the references. At the end of the summary, you should list all of your sources used in the summary. This is if you have any. Here, I put together a list of recommendations that you should take note of when writing. One is reading the article at least twice. Reading the article at least twice gives you a better understanding of the information, and it allows you to write down your main points. Take notes in the margins or separate sheet while reading. When you're reading, at least like the second time or the third time, and you're starting to understand information, start taking notes, especially the main ideas. And 3 is to put away the article when writing. When you're writing your summary, it's best if you put away the original article so you can focus on your notes that you took down and then compose your paragraphs with that. So, let's get into an example then. Here I found an example and we're going to be breaking it down after this, but let's read it. Right. It starts off by saying, in the global warming threat, Mark Tunen, a professor at the Central University of Norway, claims global warming is becoming a severe issue. Tunen supports this view by pointing out that natural disasters like floods and wildfires have become more frequent and disastrous than before. He notes that the statistics from meteorological institutes and scientific evidence supports his claims. In conclusion, Tiden points out that it's time for humans to take action. Let's break this down a little bit. Here in the introduction was, in the global warming threat, Mark Tuden, a professor at the Central University of Norway, claims that global warming is becoming a severe issue. This introduces the topic global warming and the source, Mark Tunen's claims and his affiliation. Next, we have the thesis statement. Tunen supports this view by pointing out the natural disasters like flood and wildfires have become more frequent and disastrous than before. This summarizes the main idea of the summary when he's saying the increasing severity and frequency of natural disasters due to global warming. The body paragraphs, he notes that the statistics from the meteorological institutes and scientific evidence supports his claims. This section provides evidence supporting the thesis statements, referencing statistics and scientific evidence. Then we have the conclusion. In conclusion, Tuden points out that it's time for humans to take action. This summarizes the information in the body paragraphs and restates the thesis statements, emphasizing the need for action. In the references, the summary does not have any references including in that part, but it should be the sources used. Like, for example, the article "Global Warming Threat" by Mark Twain and the statistical date and scientific evidence mentioned. So, to conclude, to create an excellent summary, you should start by clearly stating the topic and the source so that the reader understands the contents. Create a short thesis statement that summarizes the key idea of the argument, and create body paragraphs that convey significant points and evidence for the thesis in a logical arrangement. Conclude by summarizing the key aspects and restating the argument, emphasizing its general significance. Remember to cite any sources and utilize to establish credibility and encourage future reading. The systematic techniques ensure that the summary is clear, coherent, and complete. Now, this is only part one of the video, so I will be going in depth in topics like the thesis statement and the parts of an introduction for summary or a paragraph. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Make sure you share to anyone that's needing this. Grow the fan base. Have a great day, and thank you for the support.